Hey guys, I'm here again with Mike Maulbeck and Travis Pfenning of Code Avarice to talk about their upcoming game, Paranautical Activity. How are you guys doing?
Hey, yeah.
5 out of 10.
Pretty
Five out
bad.
of 10.
Yeah, and the
Two
reason for
thumbs down.
that is that, unfortunately, recently Steam has said the Paranautical Activity has to go through the Greenlight process, even though they, had a thing set up where they expected to be able to kind of jump the line. Why don't you guys tell us more about that? Kind of give us the backstory on what's going on with Greenlight.
Well, basically, like we started working on Paranautical Activity, and we just assumed that we would need Greenlight because everybody has to go through Greenlight now. So we set up the Greenlight page, and we're not really like looking for votes yet because we just started development. And then all of a sudden, Adult Swim just emails us and it's like, "Yo, we'll get you on the Steam. No need for this Greenlight stuff." So then we totally abandoned the Greenlight. We just leave it there. It's got like 5-month-old gameplay videos on it and stuff. And finally, last night or yesterday sometime, a representative from Adult Swim flew out to Valve to pitch the game to them, and their response was basically, we don't want to send the message that indies can use publishers, or indies should seek out publishers to get around the Greenlight system. And so now we're just like dead in the water. We've got a Greenlight campaign that we haven't even touched in months, and we have to make it, we have to resurrect it from the ashes, because that's our only option at this point.
Yeah, that's...
Then Adult Swim, I contacted them because literally the only reason I even considered giving them a chunk of our profits is because they said, we'll get you on the Steam. So I hit them up, I was all right, are you guys going to help promote this Greenlight campaign? Because if not, then I'm not going to give you 40% of my money. And then they hit me back and they were just like, well, we don't really want to get public with this yet because we don't want any backlash from Steam. So, like, they're not even going to help us with the Greenlight campaign at this point.
Yeah, you haven't signed anything with Adult Swim yet, right?
We can totally back out now.
Okay.
If we want to, but like they're still offering stuff, like they're offering us advertising, and they're going to take us to all the expos and the conventions and stuff.
Yeah, it's tough.
We haven't officially decided whether or not we want to go with them, but the fact that we have to get on the Steam with our own 2 feet is a real bummer, because that was like the only reason I even gave them the time of day was we need to be on Steam.
Right. Yeah, that's really disappointing. So, yeah, what is Adult Swim? They're taking you to expos and they're going to advertise you if you get on Steam, or what?
Well,
like, would they publish you without Steam?
They're not a one-trick pony either. I mean, it seems very close-minded for us to say, well, Adult Swim's whole pitch is Steam. Well, our initial deal, because nothing else had been in place, this was a whole new situation for Adult Swim to be even dealing with PC games to begin with. Okay, you got to keep that in mind, because they've always been iOS, mobile, Flash, so on and so forth, and this is a step that our representative was actually hired, I think, for the position of expanding Adult Swim games to the PC realm. All right. This is what I'm getting out of it. Now, on top of that, they hadn't made any substantial other distribution deals with anybody else. Apparently now that it's been long enough that they're looking at some other things. All right. Whereas we're kind of looking at, like I was talking to Mike today in a meeting between me and him, that I think that if that is going to be the case and we're going to get boycotted from Steam, or we're going to have to jump through these hoops, that we might want to make a move towards pushing towards something like Sony Entertainment or something like that. You know what I mean?
They emailed us like 2 weeks ago, and they basically said, like, we love the game, but they didn't really give us any concrete info, and it turned out like it was Sony Computer Entertainment Europe instead of America. So we got like hit up by the wrong people.
Right.
It's definitely shown some interest in us, so we have options available to us.
Now, would that be on the PS3 or PS4?
They didn't say. They just literally they said, like, I love the look of the game, and then I was like, wow, thanks. Or they asked about our Adult Swim deal, like, is this the Adult Swim deal cover Sony consoles? And I said, no, it's totally not exclusive. And they're like, all right, we're talking about it internally. And then they hit me back like a week later, and they're like, oh, I'll tell the American guys, because we're the Europe division or something. Still all up in the air, but, they've shown interest at the very least.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I can't see Paranautical Activity in particular translating that well to consoles, but...
Well, that was part of our discussion.
Our attempts to implement controller support have been largely troubled, so we have to do some really tricky business to make it work on console, but...
I mean,
we haven't even bothered with the controls. I mean, you put them in, and I don't even know how much tweaking he did on them, but it's definitely, there's a lot of room for improvement, which we had discussed. I was like,
right now the triggers doesn't even work. You have to use the bumpers to shoot, so it's not exactly an ideal solution at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it's just like console first-person shooters are balanced around the controller to some extent. You know, with Paranautical Activity, you really need to be able to turn all the way around you in about
and it's so hard to like, hit stuff from across the room. You're like very far away from enemies at some points, and some of the enemies are really small, so that mouse pointer position is really important.
Yeah, you'd have to add auto aiming and stuff. So, but it's cool that Sony is into you guys, because maybe in the future you could develop something that's a little bit more suited.
I would guess that it would end up on PS4 because of everybody's vying for indie support to a certain extent on the consoles this generation. I don't know if any of you guys noticed that. And when something like that happens in a huge company, they send their feelers out in multiple different directions to try to fill up those columns when they try to bring them out. So I think that we would have been, we're part of a preliminary touch, and say, hey, what do you got going on for you? We might be interested, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I would guess it would be for PS4 because none of these guys are backwards compatible at this point. I don't think they're all changing their formats and rendering their previous consoles useless.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to release a new game on PS3 right now. I wouldn't.
No, it would make no sense at all. Actually, the kind of deal you would end up making with them is you would release it for both.
Yeah,
because it only makes sense.
I would imagine that a lot of stuff would transfer on PSN at least.
Because if they can do that, they can breathe life into the old consoles just by allowing digital distribution platforms of the PS4, for instance. You know what I mean? Now that they're making a huge effort to do indies, they can say, hey, how about you port it back to the previous console, and they can keep some running content coming in for the old consoles strictly through downloading digitally.
So back to... I'm sorry?
I said it could be just me, but that's what I would do if I had a big company, and
it's just you.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So back to Steam, like why is it such a big deal for you guys? For people who might not know, like why is that so huge for you guys getting on Steam? Because you guys are always
huge for anybody. Who are you kidding right now? You can't be fucking successful without it. I don't think. Really, I mean.
I saw an interview with the Team Meat guys, and they were saying, like, they were joking around. They're like, yeah, we sold like 500,000 copies on Steam, and they're like, oh yeah, how did you do on the other platforms? They're like, yeah, we sold I think 5 copies on GOG. They were being sarcastic, but money, like, no matter where we get that's not Steam, like our own website, Desura, Gamersgate, Good Old Games, no matter how many of those places we're on, it's all going to be pocket change compared to what we can make on Steam.
Right.
And that is the problem, and that's what the major problem is with the Greenlight process.
Being a really financially successful game without Steam.
Well, it all depends. I mean, we've got the luck of the draw, the fact that there's only 2 of us, and we don't have a huge paycheck to pay. So for us, success comes at a smaller volume. But, I mean, what we want to do, and all we're trying to do is we're not, I'm not greedy by any means, and I don't think Mike's greedy either. But what we want to do is we want to pay for our development and then pay to develop our next game, so we don't starve like we did for this one through the interim. That's all we're trying to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, right now we're making enough money to survive, like on our monthly, what we're getting from BMT Micro and Desura. But we need to make enough money to not go bankrupt in the interim time between now and the next game.
And how big an obstacle is Steam Greenlight for that? How much?
So fucking crazy, man. Yeah. Like, literally, there's never been a title that has been greenlit without that being their only priority. Like, if you look at all the titles that have been greenlit, the only thing that they were doing is vote for our Greenlight, vote for our Greenlight. Don't buy the game, don't fucking back us on Kickstarter, go to Greenlight and hit that little thumbs up button. Yes, it's not about having a good game. It's about knowing how to trick people and convince people to go and click that little button. I mean, you can see that by some of the really, no offense to developers of some of the games, but some really poor stuff that's not Steam quality that's been getting onto Steam.
Yeah, I've seen some Minecraft clones that are pretty suspect.
For sure.
I feel like it's one of those things, whose dick do I gotta suck to get on to this fucking platform? And I really don't think that's fair. I mean, I can understand why they had originally implemented this, but for rules, for instance, like the fact that we have greenlit our game, and a publisher, like a real publisher like Adult Swim, wants to pick it up, right? But they're like, oh no, you that game has a Greenlight page, so we can't send that message out to other. It's like, dude, go out and get Adult Swim to publish your fucking game, and you can get around it too. I don't understand why that's a big fucking problem. Why is that a problem?
The reason that we're not on Steam, like, the only reason that we didn't, like, 24 hours ago get the go-ahead to be on Steam is that we're on Greenlight. So, like, the service that's supposed to get us onto Steam is the only thing stopping us from getting onto Steam. It's
that's
the most
absurd.
mind-blowing thing.
Yeah. That's how many votes do you know does it take to get onto Greenlight?
Oh my god.
I can bring up the page right now. It's tens of thousands, maybe.
I'm looking at the page right now, and 5th place is upwards of almost 600,000.
Oh,
60,000.
So how the fuck are you supposed to get that many votes without first being a successful game already? That's the success that you get from Steam.
Like, people like to think that Valve is this big, nice, happy company, and they're not. They want to make money. You can see that in, like, Greenlight. They were bringing in indies before. Like, all you had to do was email them, and if you had a good game, it didn't matter how well it was going to sell, they would bring it on the system and hope for the best. But now that you have to do the legwork for them. Like, it used to be, you'd get on Steam, and Steam would put you on the front page, and they'd be like, check out this new indie game. Now you have to do that legwork. You have to advertise the game. You have to do all this to guarantee that they're going to make a profit. They don't want to take any risk that this game isn't going to sell 500,000 copies, because then they just don't think it's worth their time.
This sounds more and more like the fucking music industry to me all the time. A major fucking label will not look at you, and trust me, I've been in this business for years. They will not look at you until you sell 25,000 units. Now, here's my deal. If I sell 25,000 units at $10 a piece, that's $250,000. I'm sorry, but I don't know who the hell you are, label, but I really don't need you, because I just made $250,000 without you taking a cut. It doesn't make any fucking sense at all. They want you to prove your worth after the market's 1/3 dry of it already. I don't get that. You know, it just makes me angry. Everything's got to be corporate. Everything's got to be manhandled and greedy. And this is how art gets trampled on and ruined all the time. I mean, like, there's some totally shit games on Steam. Period. Shit games. How many fucking simulators do we need?
Dino Horde or Dino Beatdown, whatever, that got through without Greenlight, because the only way to get through without Greenlight is to have worked with Valve before. But getting Greenlit doesn't count as working with Valve before. So literally every new indie company that is being born and coming into fruition now can never get onto Steam without Greenlight.
Yeah, it's really short-sighted.
Paranautical Activity is on Greenlight. We could never, ever release a game on Steam without going through the system.
Yeah, as things are now. Like, I read an interview with...
That'll change.
Yeah, I certainly hope so. Because I read an interview with Gabe who said it was basically, Greenlight was a failed experiment. But, they're still trying to tweak it, still trying to make it better, and obviously there's still some serious flaws that most people don't even know about, and that's kind of what I'm hoping to reveal with this interview. Like, it's a pretty fucked up system.
Oh yeah,
unfortunately.
And we all blindly support it.
Yeah.
If you support indie games, technically, Steam is really not your friend. You know what I mean? And that's why I was saying, with this shit that's going on for us, I think that, for one, LPers get a bad rap. You know what I mean? Not a bad rap, but you guys aren't appreciated like you should be. Okay? I see spikes. I see spikes in our sales all the time when you guys cover shit. Bottom line, I think that on top of that, the indie community is being ignored, even in the PC area over here, because Steam has such a hold on it. All these other distributors are good for indies most of the time, but they can't even drop they can't even do a drop in the bucket to compare to this monstrosity.
So cool. Like, Gamersgate literally emailed us. They're like, "Here's our Skype info. Let's just chat." Like, that's awesome. Like, we can just literally talk to them all the time. Like, they're just a couple of dudes, and we're like, we can submit a build to them and be like, all right, we want to go live on such and such a date, and then we're like, all right, did you get this yet? And they're like, yeah, we're working on it, or yeah, I'm out of the town right now. And that's awesome. I mean, they're obviously a smaller company than Valve and Steam, so they can do that kind of stuff. But still, like, there's no excuse for the kind of stuff that you have to go through with Steam.
Yeah, exactly. Especially Steam is so big that they have the resources to be much more friendly than they are, but they're choosing not to.
They just don't want to do the old system anymore. They're like, they got tired of letting on stuff that sometimes wouldn't sell as much as they'd like, so now they're just forcing us all into this hamstrung system.
It's bandwidth. They've only got so much bandwidth. You know they're having server problems. They've got to be. They've got to be chasing their tail with that shit all the time because there are so many people. When you open up your Steam and you see 200 or 2 million players currently online, do you even understand the technology it takes to be able to house all of those players at the same time streaming at a certain amount of FPS so that they can actually play the fucking games that they're playing? It's ridiculous. I can imagine the headaches that they experience.
Yeah, anybody on Steam can download, just be like, hey, I have to download this 15 gigabyte game again. And Steam's just like, all right, and they send it out at 5 megabytes a second. It's crazy.
Steam sales go down, then they're always hurting.
Yeah.
I haven't bought anything at Steam sale in a while, but back in the day, like, 10 months ago or whatever, every time there was a Steam sale and you tried to download something, it'd be like, a day and a half.
Yeah, they're paying for that bandwidth. I mean, it costs money to suck a golf ball through a garden hose. It really does. I mean, and that's what it comes down to. But what I was getting at in that last conversation is that I wanted to try to unite and prove, maybe on a small scale, that if you can unite the community between, like, Green here and Northern Lion and Jay Smith and Rockley Smile and all of these guys all get together and try to unite the community to say, listen, we do make a difference, whether you think so or not, and try to bombard it and use it as a tool. You know what I mean? Kind of, not that it only benefits me, but what bothers me about the whole situation is that I really don't think that anybody's garnering any real attention. And when I think that people should garner real attention, YouTubers deserve some attention. They're selling shit left and right, and fucking YouTube don't tell you how much money they make off from you streaming 3 times a day or 3 times a week or however many fucking times you stream. You're only seeing a little trickle of it. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that even the indie community even is aware at this point on how important LPers are, and the community itself bonding together to actually say, you know what, screw you, this is good, go vote for it. You know what I mean? And see what we could do. I took a picture of it, of the Paranautical Activity page right when I got up this morning. I said, you know what, I'm gonna try to light some people up and see how many people we can get to make a difference, then get like 5,000 votes in a day or 6,000 votes in a day or something just totally ridiculous as a way of saying, fuck you, we're gonna just keep spamming you, you know? And that's just me.
We've gone up 1% since last night already.
That's good.
Yeah. Actually, we've gotten shit. I'd have to bring up the other picture of what the original numbers were.
If I'm not mistaken, that's just from Twitter, right? Like, nobody's actually been posting videos yet.
Not yet, no.
Yeah. So, and, speaking of which, you guys are talking to probably about 4,000 people right now, if I had to guess. What would you like them to do to help your cause if they enjoy your game?
Vote.
Thumbs up button, man, on Greenlight.
yeah, that'll be right at the top of the description.
Vote and leave an awesome comment, man. I mean, I've got some stuff brewing that I'm thinking that we might do little contests, for instance. If you guys do some LPs of it and stuff like that, we can give out copies in a form of, like, listen, you go out and you upvote the game and get 10 friends to comment and upvote the game and put your name in the comment, we'll give you a free copy.
Not a bad idea.
You know what I mean? Like, give incentive to vote for it. Not like, yeah, I'm kind of buying your fucking vote, but I'm telling you what, if I give you a free game, you better fucking upvote it. I mean, that seriously. But I mean, everybody could do that, and if you jumped in for your buddy and say, yeah, I'm going to vote for you, that's one vote that automatically counts for you also. You know what I mean? Not only does it count for your buddy, but it'll start your votes, and then you get 9 people, and you get the game, and then they get 9 people, and they get the game.
And then no one ever buys the game again.
You know what? I don't... At that point, Mike, to tell you the truth, we'd be making all the money. We would be making all the money, and it would already be done, and Steam wouldn't even matter anymore at that point, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, to some extent, it's always good to be able to get in the Steam sales and everything.
Well,
and
like I said, I don't want to get rich, Green. I don't want to get rich. I want to feed my family. That's all I care about.
Want to get rich, Travis?
Well, you can totally shoot for that, and I tell you what, every time you shoot for something like that, in my life experience, which I've got about double yours, it always ends up being a little bit of disappointment. If you set your goals accordingly, then you never really fail. You follow? And my goal right now is I want to make games for a living.
Yeah, man, that's pretty much all I want. I want to make
what I want
in this game that I don't starve to death making the next game.
Yeah, I don't need a mansion. I don't need any of that shit. I mean, I'm a minimalist, man. I build solar panels and try to get myself off the grid as much as I possibly can. That's what a lot of what I invest money into. That's why I have gardens and stuff like that. So the less money I need, the easier it is for me to do something that I love. I mean, this is what it's about for me. I want to do something that I love and be able to survive from that, even as hard as it is. And technically, I don't need Greenlight. I mean, I don't need Steam. Fuck that, because right now, I mean, if people support us, it doesn't matter, because my goals aren't that high. They're really not. But I'd like to see the community actually turn around and say, listen, you've got us all cornered into your system, and we want to see what we want to see on here. It's not so much these little 14-year-olds who get on there and downvote you because your artwork looks like fucking Minecraft, because their brains aren't developed enough to determine that there's a difference between mechanics and aesthetics. You know what I mean? That's my rant. I'm done.
Starting revolution.
So, dude, I really think we should.
God.
I'm serious. I mean, indies are getting shit on right now. All of a sudden now the consoles are like, oh, hey, maybe we should pay attention to the indies. You know why they're saying that? Because their fucking marketing teams and their financial people are looking at the indie market and saying, this market is getting bigger and yours is fucking getting smaller. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? You know, they're losing money. People aren't going to keep paying $60 for a fucking triple title game or AAA game that sucks. They're just not going to do that. I mean, keep remaking Metal Gear Solid for the 400th fucking time. Sorry, but it didn't cost you that much to make the fucking thing, because you're all recycling. You're recycling the assets and just upping the texture count or the texture size so that it looks up to date. That's bullshit. And people pay for it. So why wouldn't you pay $10 for a fucking game that's halfway decent? You know? Am I wrong here?
2013.
Dude, I'm freaking out, man. This ruined my day. I'm sorry. I'm a little pissed off about it because it ruined my fucking day.
Yeah, like in my mind, they had already said yes. They were like, we were already on Steam in my brain, and then they throw us a curveball.
Yeah, it was really disappointing. I thought the same thing. I was shocked when I heard about this.
In my mind. Like, look at all the crap that's on Steam. Like, look at all the stuff that Adult Swim has published. Like, we're every bit as good as pretty much all the stuff Adult Swim is putting out there on Steam.
It's not even down. It didn't even come down to that. That's what fucking irritates me. It has nothing to do with the game. Nothing to fucking do with the game.
Just politics.
Send that kind of message. It's a load of crap, man.
Because the game doesn't suck. It doesn't fucking suck. It's a fucking cool game. It keeps you playing. Any game that says when you die and you say, oh, the restart button is my fucking best friend right now. You know, there's something to be said for that.
Yeah. So, if you guys are, angry about this, there are things you can do to help. Go to the Greenlight page and click the thumbs up, first of all. And also, spread the word. Tell your friends. Tell your favorite Let's Players about it. Try to get more word out there. Tweet about it. Anything you can do to tell people, to tell other people, to vote for this game on Greenlight, so that hopefully we can write this, and hopefully eventually Greenlight will exist in a very different form or not exist, because it's pretty fucked up right now. Anyway.
Understatement.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me, and I really hope that this helps you out in some way.
Hey, every little bit counts, man. Thank you for having us on.
Yeah, for real.
And keep on developing Paranautical Activity, because, at the very least, I know there are a bunch of people who are eager to buy it in other places, even if Steam won't pick it up.
Yeah.
Well, we got some things planned that we're gonna talk about on the sidelines. I got some decent ideas that we can all come together and actually try to make a movement for it, if anybody's willing to do that.
Yeah, let me know. Hit me up on Skype or Twitter or whatever if you guys have a plan, and I will help you promote whatever you decide to do.
Well, my plan includes multiplayer.
That would be awesome.
He keeps fighting me about it, but I told him, it's like, today, if it comes down to it, dude, and you really don't want to do that multi-code, we'll just source it out and call it a day. So we'll see what happens.
All right.
I'm working on it for you people.
Anyway, hopefully Travis didn't get Mike in a bunch of trouble there. We'll see you
How
guys
did I
next
get him in trouble? I'm hoping it did, because I'm pushing for multiplayer too, guys.
It would be fun. That's all I'm going to say.
It would be.
It will be.
Goodbye, everybody.
All right, peace.